The massive ship Eternal Dominion floated in the dark space between stars. It was so large that entire cities could fit inside it. The ship belonged to the Galactic Council, and today it carried the most important beings in the galaxy. Admiral Vextar stood in the center of the Great Hall. His body was made of living crystal that glowed with blue light. He was tall, taller than any human building. Around him sat the other council members. There was Ambassador Thyses, who looked like a giant spider made of metal. Next to her sat General Koroth, a being of pure energy trapped inside a suit of black armor. 12 different alien species filled the room, and each one ruled over millions of planets. For thousands of years, these beings had controlled the galaxy. When they found new species, they gave them a simple choice: join the council and follow their rules, or be destroyed. Every species had chosen to join. Every single one. Until now. The humans are becoming a problem, said Vextar. His voice sounded like crystal bells ringing. They have been traveling through space for 72 of our years. In that time, they have built colonies on 400 worlds. Ambassador Thyses clicked her metal legs together. 400 worlds in 72 years. That is impossible. Most species take 1,000 years to claim that much space. It gets worse, said General Koroth. His voice was like thunder. They build their colonies in systems we already claimed. They act like our territorial markers don't exist. Dr. Young, the council's expert on alien behavior, floated forward. She looked like a jellyfish made of light. I have studied the humans for many years. They are strange. Very strange. When most species see our ships, they run away in fear. The humans wave at us. They actually wave. They invite our patrol ships to land and have dinner, added Captain Zek. He was a lizard-like being with 6 arms. Last week, a human ship asked one of my crews for directions to something called a space diner. What is a space diner? Vextar raised one crystal hand for silence. The humans don't seem to understand how the galaxy works. They don't fear us. They don't respect our power. This cannot continue. Other species are starting to notice. It was true. The Galactic Council ruled through fear. When other species saw that the Council could not control the humans, they might start to rebel too. The Council's power depended on everyone believing they were unstoppable. What do we know about human military strength? Asked General Koroth. Dr. Yeln's light grew dimmer. They have no real weapons by our standards. Their ships are fast but weak. Their colonies have almost no defenses. A single Council destroyer could wipe out their entire space fleet. Then why haven't we destroyed them already? Growled Ambassador Thyses. Because, said Vextar slowly, they don't act like they know they should be afraid. Every time we send ships near their space, they respond with curiosity. They ask questions. They want to learn about us. They treat our warnings like friendly conversations. Captain Zek held up a data tablet. Last month, I transmitted the standard surrender demand to a human colony. Their response was to ask if we wanted to attend their harvest festival. They said they were making something called alien-themed corn mazes in our honor. The room fell silent. In their long history, the Council had never encountered anything like this. Perhaps, said Dr. Yeln, they simply don't understand what we're saying to them. Our translators are perfect, said General Koroth. They understand every word. Then maybe they're too primitive to understand the concept of galactic politics, suggested Ambassador Thyses. Vextar shook his crystal head. I thought so too. But look at this. He activated a hologram in the center of the room. It showed a human space station. This is their newest research facility. They built it in 3 months. The technology is crude, but the engineering is clever. These are not primitive beings. The hologram changed to show human ships. They looked nothing like Council vessels. Where Council ships were smooth and perfect, human ships looked like they were built from spare parts. But there were so many of them. They reproduced their technology faster than any species we've encountered, Vextar continued. They share information freely between their colonies. When one human learns something new, all humans learn it within weeks. This is getting ridiculous, said General Koroth. We've conquered species that span entire galactic arms. We've destroyed civilizations with technology far beyond what these humans possess. Why are we even discussing this? Vextar turned to face the general. Because for the first time in our history, a species is ignoring us. Not fighting us. Not surrendering to us. Ignoring us. And that threatens everything we've built. The council members looked at each other. They had faced rebels before. They had faced desperate last stands by dying civilizations. But they had never faced complete indifference. What do you recommend? Asked Ambassador Dizes. Vextar stood taller. We follow standard procedure. We give them one last chance to surrender. If they refuse, we demonstrate our power by destroying one of their colonies. That has never failed to bring a species to their senses. And if they still don't surrender? Asked Dr. Yelm. Then we wipe them out completely, said General Koroth. We cannot allow their defiance to spread to other species. Vextar nodded slowly. Prepare the standard surrender message. Broadcast it to every human world and ship. Give them one rotation of their planet to respond. Within an hour, the message went out across human space. It was the same message the Council had sent to hundreds of species over thousands of years. The words were simple and clear. Submit to Council authority or face total destruction. The Council expected fear. They expected desperate negotiations. They expected humanity to realize, finally, that they were dealing with the masters of the galaxy. Instead, after just 10 minutes, responses started flooding in from across human space. Not just from Earth, but from hundreds of colonies, thousands of ships, and millions of humans. The responses were all the same. Laughter. Pure, uncontrolled, joyful human laughter, followed by a single message, broadcast simultaneously from every human settlement in the galaxy. Thanks for the comedy break. Get back to us when you're serious. The emergency meeting aboard Eternal Dominion lasted for 6 hours. The council members sat in shocked silence as they listened to the human laughter over and over again. They had sent their standard ultimatum to 1,247 different species throughout their long history. Every single species had responded with fear, desperate negotiations, or immediate surrender. None had ever laughed. They must not understand, said Dr. Yelm. Her jellyfish body flickered with confused colors. Perhaps their translation systems are broken. General Koroth slammed his armored fist on the table. Our translators are perfect. They understand every word we said. They're mocking us. Impossible, said Ambassador Dizes. No species mocks the Galactic Council. They wouldn't dare. Admiral Vextar studied the recordings of human responses. Ships, colonies, space stations. Even individual humans floating in maintenance suits outside their vessels had joined in the laughter. It wasn't angry or fearful laughter. It sounded happy. They think we're joking, he said finally. They actually believe our ultimatum is some kind of humor. Captain Zick pulled up a new transmission. Admiral, we're getting more messages from the humans. They're not stopping. The main screen lit up with dozens of human faces. Men, women, children, all talking at once. The translator worked frantically to keep up. That was hilarious. Can you send more comedy transmissions? My kids want to know if all aliens are as funny as you are. We're starting an alien joke festival next month. You should come. Do you have any material about space cows? Earth cows are really funny. Vexstar turned off the screen. The silence that followed felt heavy and dangerous. This cannot continue, he said. If other species see that humans don't fear us, our entire system of control will collapse. We must act. What do you suggest? Asked Ambassador Thizes. A demonstration. We choose one small human colony and show them what happens to those who defy the Council. Once they see our true power, they'll understand this is not a joke. Dr. Young floated closer. Which colony? Vexstar pulled up a star map. Here, New Geneva, is their newest settlement. Only 50,000 humans, mostly farmers and researchers. We'll send a subjugation fleet. 300 ships. More than enough to handle any resistance they might offer. And if they still don't surrender after the demonstration? Asked General Koroth. Then we destroy the colony completely, said Vexstar. But it won't come to that. No species can watch a mountain range disappear and still think we're joking. The fleet departed within hours. 300 council ships, each one capable of destroying cities. Admiral Vexstar led them personally aboard his flagship, Divine Wrath. This was more firepower than most species had ever seen in one place. The journey to New Geneva took 2 days. During that time, Vexstar received regular reports about human activity in the system. What he heard made no sense. Admiral, reported Captain Zek, the humans are not evacuating. They're not even moving their ships to defensive positions. Are they preparing some kind of trap? No, sir. They appear to be celebrating. Our long-range sensors show massive gatherings in their cities. They've constructed viewing platforms and what their communications call party zones. Vexstar stared at the tactical display. Viewing platforms? Yes, sir. And they're sending us messages. The main screen activated. A smiling human woman appeared. She had gray hair and kind eyes. Behind her, Vexstar could see crowds of humans setting up what looked like festival decorations. Hello there. I'm Governor Sarah Chen of New Geneva Colony. We heard you were coming to visit. This is so exciting. We've never met real aliens before. Well, except for the trading ships that come through, but they're always too busy to chat. Vexstar found his voice. Human female, you are in violation of Galactic Council law. Prepare for judgment. Governor Chun clapped her hands together. Oh, wonderful. You're still doing the comedy routine. Our entertainment committee is taking notes. We've set up viewing areas all around the colony for your show. Oh, and the children made welcome signs. They're so excited to see real alien ships. This is not entertainment, Vexstar said, his crystal body glowing brighter with anger. This is a council subjugation fleet. We are here to demonstrate the price of defying our authority. Right, said Governor Chun with a wink. The demonstration. We're all ready for it. We've got popcorn and everything. Some folks are even having barbecues. It's like the 4th of July, but with aliens. The transmission ended before Vexstar could respond. Sir, said Captain Zek quietly, what is the 4th of July? I don't know, said Vexstar. And I don't want to know. When the council fleet arrived at New Geneva, they found the most bizarre welcome in galactic history. The planet's surface was dotted with lights from massive gatherings. Humans had set up telescopes, built temporary stadiums, and even launched small observation ships to get better views of the fleet. Admiral, reported the communications officer, we're receiving thousands of messages from the surface. They're all invitations. Invitations? To dinner parties, barbecues, something called tailgate parties, and multiple requests for autographs. Also, someone wants to know if you'd be willing to judge their alien costume contest. Vexstar felt something he had never experienced before. His crystal body began to develop small cracks from stress. Weapons ready. Target the northern mountain range. Full power. Sir, that's enough firepower to destroy half the continent. I know. The Council fleet opened fire. Energy beams that could melt planets focused on a single mountain range. The mountains didn't just disappear. They were turned into glowing plasma. The light from the destruction could be seen from orbit. The sound echoed across the entire planet. When the light faded, where there had once been mountains, now there was only a perfectly smooth crater 5 miles deep. Vextar waited for the screaming to start. He waited for the panicked surrender transmissions. He waited for the humans to finally understand what they were facing. Instead, he heard something that made his crystal form develop even more cracks. Applause. Massive. Thunderous applause from 50,000 humans. Governor Chun's face appeared on screen again. She was clapping enthusiastically. That was absolutely amazing. The special effects team is definitely taking notes. The way you made the light spread across the sky was beautiful. Oh, and my grandson Tommy wants to know if you can do it again but spell out "Welcome to New Geneva" this time. He thinks it would make a great souvenir photo. Behind her, Vextar could see crowds of humans pointing at the crater and taking pictures. Children were running around wearing crude alien costumes. Someone was setting off fireworks. You, Vextar's voice cracked like his crystal body. You just watched us destroy an entire mountain range. Don't you understand what that means? Governor Chun nodded enthusiastically. Oh yes. It means you have really impressive technology. We'd love to learn how you do that. Our physics department is probably going crazy with excitement right now. Would you be willing to give a lecture at our university? For the first time in his 1,000-year life, Admiral Vextar of the Galactic Council had absolutely no idea what to say. The emergency session in the Galactic Council's highest chamber had been going on for 3 days. For the first time in their recorded history, the Council didn't know what to do. The 12 most powerful beings in the galaxy sat around their ancient table. Looking at data they couldn't understand, Dr. Yelm floated in the center. A jellyfish body cycling through colors of confusion and distress. I have studied over 400 different species. I have never seen anything like human behavior. They have no survival instinct. Explain, said Admiral Vextar. His crystal body still showed cracks from the stress of the New Geneva incident. Every intelligent species shares certain basic traits, Dr. Yelm said. When faced with overwhelming force, they either fight or flee. When shown superior technology, they feel fear or awe. When threatened with extinction, they try to negotiate or surrender. Humans do none of these things. She activated a hologram showing human responses to Council demonstrations over the past month. Look at this data. We destroyed a mountain range that could be seen from space. The humans applauded. We demonstrated weapons that could crack planets. They asked for the physics equations. We sent our most terrifying warships to patrol their space. They invited the crews to birthday parties. General Korad's armored form crackled with angry energy. Perhaps they're simply too stupid to understand danger. No, said Dr. Yelm. That's what makes this so puzzling. Humans are extremely intelligent. Their technology develops faster than any species we've encountered. They solve problems in ways we never considered. But they seem to have no concept of fear. Captain Zek raised one of his 6 arms. I have more reports from the frontier. Human expansion continues. They've established 30 new colonies since we began our demonstration at New Geneva. They're completely ignoring our territorial boundaries. How is that possible? Asked Ambassador Thizes. We have patrol fleets guarding every major system. They wave at our patrols, Captain Zek said quietly. Yesterday, A human exploration ship called Happy Wanderer approached one of our dreadnoughts and asked for directions to the nearest good breakfast spot. When our captain explained that they were in council space without permission, the humans apologized and offered to share their coffee. Did they leave? No, they're still there. They set up a small research station and invited our patrol crew to help study interesting space phenomena. Our crew is considering it. Admiral Vextar felt his crystal structure vibrate with frustration. Our crews are considering helping humans with research. The humans are very friendly, Captain Zek admitted. And they do ask fascinating questions. Lieutenant Kor says he's learned more about quantum mechanics from talking to human scientists than he did in 100 years of council education. Dr. Yeln activated another display. This is the real problem. Humans don't just ignore our threats. They actively seek out contact with council species. Look at these trading reports. The display showed dozens of human merchant ships traveling throughout council space. They carried cargo that made no sense. Packages of something called friendship cookies, bottles of liquid, labeled Earth's finest wine, and data files containing cultural exchange. Materials. They're giving gifts to our people, said Ambassador Lysis. Not selling, giving. They ask for nothing in return except conversation and what they call friendship. It's working, admitted General Koroth reluctantly. Our border guards look forward to human visits. The gifts are pleasant, and the conversations are interesting. Humans ask about our cultures, our history, our personal experiences. No one has ever asked our soldiers about their personal experiences. Admiral Vextar stood up, his crystal form casting sharp shadows. This is exactly what I feared. The humans aren't just defying us. They're corrupting our people with their strange ideas. What ideas? Asked Dr. Yeln. Cooperation, friendship, sharing knowledge freely instead of using it for control. Vextar's voice grew harder. These concepts threaten everything the Council represents. Captain Zek pulled up another report. Sir, there's more. Other species are beginning to notice how we interact with humans. The Zephyrians have started asking why humans get special treatment. 3 systems have requested permission to establish direct trade with human colonies. Denied, said Admiral Vextar immediately. That's the problem, sir. They didn't ask us. They asked the humans. And the humans said yes. They told the Zephyrians that anyone who wants to be friends is welcome to visit any time. The chamber fell silent. For 1,000 years, all interspecies contact had gone through the Council. The idea that species would communicate directly without Council permission was unthinkable. There's something else, said Dr. Yeln hesitantly. I've been studying human cultural materials. They have a concept called democracy, where groups make decisions together instead of following one supreme authority. Ridiculous, said General Koroth. How can thousands of beings agree on anything? They don't always agree, but they've developed ways to compromise, to find solutions that work for everyone. And sir, it actually seems to function quite well. Their society is stable, productive, and... She paused. Happy. Happy? Admiral Vextar had never heard anyone describe a galactic civilization as happy. Yes, sir. Humans enjoy their lives. They pursue activities for pleasure rather than just survival or dominance. They create art, music, and stories for entertainment. They help each other solve problems not for political gain, but because they want to help. Ambassador Lysis clicked her metal legs thoughtfully. Is that why they keep inviting us to festivals and parties? They think social interaction should be enjoyable? Exactly. And that's the real threat they represent. Dr. Yeln's colors grew brighter with realization. They don't want to conquer us or replace us. They want to be friends with us. But friendship requires equality. It requires mutual respect. It requires sharing power instead of hoarding it. The implications hit the council members like a physical blow. Their entire system was based on dominance and fear. If other species learned that cooperation and equality were possible, the council's power would crumble overnight. "We have to stop them," said General Koroth, before their ideas spread any further. "How?" asked Captain Zek. "We can't intimidate them. Our demonstrations only make them more curious. Our weapons don't frighten them. Our threats make them laugh." Admiral Vextar began pacing, his crystal form leaving glowing footprints on the metal floor. "Then we use maximum force. We deploy the Hegemony Fleet, 1,000 ships carrying our most powerful weapons. We don't just threaten humanity. We destroy their entire civilization in a single strike." "Sir," said Dr. Young carefully, "deploying the Hegemony Fleet will terrify every species in the galaxy. They'll think we've gone mad. Better they fear our madness than learn human ideas about cooperation," Vextar replied. "Send the order. The Hegemony Fleet will assemble at Staging Area 7. We end this human problem once and for all." But even as he gave the order, Vextar felt uncertain. Every military solution they had tried had only made the situation worse. The humans seemed to turn every display of force into an opportunity for friendship. What if the Hegemony Fleet didn't frighten them either? What if they invited 1,000 council warships to an even bigger party? For the first time in his long life, Admiral Vextar began to wonder if there were some problems that couldn't be solved with overwhelming force. The Hegemony Fleet was a sight that had ended civilizations. 1,000 ships, each the size of a small moon, gathered in formation above the dead system that served as the Council's final staging area. These were not normal warships. They carried weapons that could crack planets, reality manipulators that could erase matter from existence, and temporal distortion fields that could trap entire solar systems in time loops. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, Galaxy's End. Around him, his finest officers prepared for what they believed would be the final solution to the human problem. The weapons they carried had never been used together before. They were designed to end threats to the Council permanently and completely. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said Captain Zek. His 6 arms moved across control panels with practiced efficiency. "The fleet can reduce the entire human territory to cosmic dust within 1 standard hour." "Good," said Vextar. His crystal form had developed new stress cracks, but these glowed with determined energy. "This time, there will be no misunderstanding, no demonstrations, no opportunities for human confusion. We will simply remove them from existence." The fleet moved toward human space like a cosmic storm. Their approach could be detected from hundreds of light years away. Any intelligent species would see them coming and immediately flee or surrender. The energy signatures alone should have caused panic across human territory. Instead, the first response came from Earth itself, transmitted across all frequencies so the entire galaxy could hear it. A cheerful human voice said, "Holy cow, you guys really went all out this time. We can see your fleet from Pluto. Our astronomers are having the best day of their lives." Dr. Yelm, monitoring communications from the fleet's science vessel, felt her colors shift to confused purple. "Admiral, the human response is unusual." "Define unusual," said Vextar, though he feared the answer. "They're not evacuating. They're not panicking. She paused, checking her readings. "They're sending out invitation broadcasts." The main screen activated, showing a human woman in what appeared to be a government office. She was smiling broadly and holding a tablet computer. "Hi there. I'm Dr. Elena Vasquez, head of Earth's Xenological Studies Department. We've been analyzing your fleet composition through our deep space sensors. And wow, you folks have some really interesting physics going on. Behind her, dozens of young humans bustled around with papers and equipment. They looked excited, not terrified. We've got about 10,000 graduate students who love to write dissertations on your technology, Dr. Vasquez continued. Would you mind if we sent some research vessels to get a closer look? We promise not to interfere with whatever you're planning. We're just really curious about how you make ships that big. The transmission ended, leaving the council officers staring at the screen in silence. Sir, said Captain Zek quietly, what are graduate students? I don't know, said Vexstar. And I don't want to know. The fleet continued toward Earth, but the human responses kept coming. Not from government officials or military commanders, but from ordinary humans who seemed to treat the approach of the galaxy's most terrifying weapons as entertainment. Look at those energy signatures. Our kids are having a field day with their science projects. My neighbor built a telescope just to watch her ships. She says the light patterns are beautiful. Are you folks available for a cultural exchange program? We've got some great universities that would love to host alien visitors. General Koroth, monitoring from his command ship, sent a private message to Vexstar. Admiral, this is getting out of hand. They're treating our doomsday fleet like a tourist attraction. Maintain course, Vexstar replied. When we reach Earth, they'll see our true power. No species can misinterpret total annihilation. But when the hegemony fleet arrived at Earth, they found something that broke Admiral Vexstar's understanding of the universe. Humanity's entire space fleet had been repositioned. Instead of forming defensive lines or evacuating civilians, every human ship had been arranged in space to form a massive arrow pointing toward the outer solar system. Sir, reported the navigation officer, the human ships are creating a directional marker. It's pointing toward Pluto. Long-range sensors focused on humanity's outermost planet. What they found there defied all logic. Pluto had been completely transformed. The small frozen world now supported the largest construction project the galaxy had ever seen. Massive structures covered the entire surface, connected by gleaming bridges and transport tubes. Lights blazed across continents. Ships from dozens of different worlds were parked in organized patterns around the planet. What is that? Whispered the lame Captain Zeke studied the sensor readings. It appears to be a facility of some kind. There are amphitheaters, recreational areas, what look like restaurants and hotels. Sir, I think they've built the galaxy's largest entertainment complex. A massive sign, visible from orbit and written in the languages of every known species, stretched across Pluto's northern hemisphere. Welcome to the ultimate alien encounter experience, food, fun, and friendship for all species. Dr. Vasquez's voice came over the communications again. We hope you like what we've done with the place. When we heard you were bringing such a big fleet, we figured you'd need somewhere to relax afterward. We've got accommodations for every species we could research. Oh, and the food courts are amazing. We've got cuisine from 40 different worlds. Admiral Vexstar stared at the display showing Pluto's transformation. They built this for us? It gets worse, sir, said Captain Zek. I'm detecting ships from non-human species in the area. Zephyrian merchants, Carillion research vessels, even some of our own patrol craft. They're all participating. Participating in what? In what the humans are calling the galaxy's first interspecies friendship festival. Sir, they've turned our invasion into a party. And other species are actually attending. The final blow came when Admiral Vexstar received a direct communication from Earth's leadership. President Martinez appeared on screen, sitting in what looked like a simple office. She was drinking from a small cup and looked completely relaxed. Admiral Vexstar, isn't it? I've heard a lot about you. Would you like to come down to Earth for a chat? There's a nice cafe in Geneva where we could talk this whole thing through. I think there might be some misunderstandings we need to clear up. Misunderstandings? Vexstar's crystal form blazed with frustrated energy. We have brought the most powerful fleet in galactic history to destroy your entire species. President Martinez nodded thoughtfully. Yes, that does seem like quite a misunderstanding. See, we keep getting these messages about surrender and destruction, but we're still not clear on why you think we need to fight about anything. If there are galactic laws we're breaking, couldn't you just send us a copy of the rules? You are expanding into territory claimed by the Council. Oh, said President Martinez, looking genuinely surprised. Well, why didn't you say so? We had no idea there were property rights involved. Are there maps we could look at? Maybe we could work out some kind of sharing arrangement? For the second time in his ancient life, Admiral Vexstar found himself completely speechless. Around him, his officers stared at their instruments as if the readings made no sense. The humans weren't defying the Council. They weren't afraid of the Council. They weren't even impressed by the Council. They just wanted to be friends. And somehow, impossibly, other species were starting to think that might be a good idea. 3 hours later, Admiral Vexstar found himself sitting in the strangest place he had ever been. The small cafe in Geneva looked nothing like the great halls of power he was used to. Simple tables, warm lighting, and the smell of something humans called coffee filled the air. Outside the windows, human children played in a park while their parents watched his shuttle with casual interest. President Martinez sat across from him, her hands wrapped around a ceramic cup. She had insisted he try something called hot chocolate, which now sat cooling in front of his crystal form. Around them, other humans went about their daily business as if a galactic overlord having coffee was perfectly normal. I have to ask, President Martinez said with a gentle smile, how long have you been ruling the galaxy? The Council has maintained order for over 12,000 years, Vexstar replied automatically. That's a long time to be in charge of things. It must be exhausting. She sipped her coffee thoughtfully. What made you want to rule everyone in the first place? The question caught Vexstar off guard. No one had ever asked him why the Council ruled. They just did. To maintain peace. To prevent chaos. Strong leadership ensures stability. I see. And has it worked? Is the galaxy peaceful? Vexstar paused. There are no wars between Council species. But are people happy? Happy? The concept still felt foreign to him. They are alive. They follow orders. They contribute to galactic stability. President Martinez nodded slowly. We have a different way of looking at things. Would you like to hear about it? Against his better judgment, Vexstar found himself curious. Explain. Well, we believe that the best societies are the ones where people choose to participate, where they contribute because they want to help, not because they're forced to. We think differences between species aren't problems to be controlled, but opportunities to learn new things. She gestured toward the window, where a group of children were drawing pictures with chalk on the sidewalk. Those kids out there will grow up knowing that the galaxy is full of amazing different species that want to explore and learn and make friends. That's just how humans think. But without central authority, there would be chaos, Vexstar said, though he wasn't sure why he was arguing. Would there? We've been expanding for 70 years now, and we've never had a war with another species. We've had disagreements, sure, but we work them out by talking. It's not that complicated. Dr. Vasquez approached their table, carrying a tablet and looking excited. I'm sorry to interrupt, President Martinez, but Admiral, I have something I think you'd find interesting. She activated the tablet, showing complex data charts. We've been analyzing the energy signatures from your fleet. The physics you're using to maintain ships that size is incredible. Our best scientists have been working for decades on unified field theory, and you've actually built it into functional technology. Vextar looked at the data. These are classified council technologies. Oh, we're not asking for your secrets, Dr. Vasquez said quickly. We just think it's amazing what you've accomplished. The engineering alone must have taken thousands of years to develop. We'd love to learn about the basic principles, maybe share some of our own research in exchange. You would share your research freely? Of course. That's how science works. When everyone shares what they know, we all learn faster. She paused, looking confused. Don't your scientists work together? Council scientists work on approved projects under direct supervision, Vextar said slowly. Dr. Vasquez and President Martinez exchanged glances. That seems limiting, the president said carefully. For the first time, Vextar began to see his civilization through human eyes. Scientists working alone on approved projects. Citizens following orders without question. Entire species contributing to galactic stability without ever being asked what they wanted to contribute. Your people seem very interested in learning about other species, he said finally. We are. Every species we've met has taught us something new. The Zephyrians showed us amazing crystal growing techniques. The Corellians have music that's unlike anything we'd ever heard. Even your patrol ships taught us new ways to think about space navigation. My patrol ships taught you navigation? President Martinez smiled. Your crews are very friendly once you get them talking. They were happy to share basic information in exchange for some Earth coffee and cookies. Apparently, council rations are pretty bland. Vextar thought about his troops. Trained for 1,000 years to maintain strict discipline. Sharing cookies with humans and discussing navigation techniques. It should have horrified him. Instead, he found himself thinking that his soldiers had probably enjoyed those conversations more than they had enjoyed anything in their entire military careers. President Martinez, he said slowly, I think I'm beginning to understand something. You never intended to defy the council. Of course not. We didn't even know the council existed until you contacted us. We thought you were just another species we hadn't met yet. We were excited to make new friends. The revelation hit Vextar like a physical blow. You thought our ultimatums were introductions? Well, they were a bit formal and dramatic, but we figured that was just your cultural style. Some species are more theatrical than others. We were trying to be polite and respond appropriately. And when we demonstrated our weapons, we were impressed. We thought you were showing us your achievements, like we might show visitors our art galleries or science museums. We didn't realize you were trying to threaten us. Vextar sat in silence, processing this information. For 12,000 years, the council had ruled through fear and force. They had never encountered a species that didn't understand the concept of threat-based power structures. But surely you understand that we could destroy your entire civilization. President Martinez nodded. Oh yes, your technology is far beyond ours. But why would you want to? What would be the point of destroying people who want to be your friends? The question was so simple, so innocent, that Vextar couldn't answer it. In all his centuries of military planning, he had never considered the possibility that destroying potential friends might be pointless. Admiral, said Dr. Vasquez gently, may I ask you something? In all the years the council has been in charge, have you ever just enjoyed your work? Enjoyed it? Yes. Have you ever felt happy about what you were doing? Excited to meet new species? Curious about different ways of thinking? Vextar thought about his long career. Endless meetings about territorial control. Constant monitoring for signs of rebellion. Decades spent preparing for wars that never came because everyone was too afraid to fight. No, he said quietly. I have never enjoyed it. That sounds lonely. President Martinez said with genuine sympathy, for reasons he couldn't explain. Vextar felt his crystal structure begin to glow with a warmth he had never experienced before. These humans, who should have been his enemies, were treating him with kindness. They weren't trying to overthrow him or replace his power. They just wanted him to feel better. "What would you do?" he asked slowly. "If you were in charge of the galaxy?" "We wouldn't want to be in charge of the galaxy," President Martinez said immediately. "That's way too much responsibility for any one species. We'd rather work together with everyone to figure out what's best for each situation. But someone has to make the decisions." "Do they?" "We make decisions together on Earth. It takes longer sometimes, but the results are usually better because we get input from lots of different perspectives." Dr. Vasquez leaned forward excitedly. "Think about it, Admiral. Imagine what the galaxy could accomplish if every species was free to contribute their best ideas. If scientists could collaborate across species lines. If we could combine Zephyrian crystal technology with council physics and human engineering creativity." The image she painted was unlike anything Vextar had ever imagined. A galaxy where species worked together by choice. Where differences were celebrated rather than controlled. Where beings like himself could wake up each day excited about what they might discover. "It would never work," he said. But his voice lacked conviction. "It's working right here," President Martinez said gently. "You came here planning to destroy us, and instead you're having coffee with us and learning about human culture. Change is already happening, Admiral. The question is whether you want to help guide it or fight against it." Outside the cafe window, Vextar watched human children playing with toys that looked like spaceships. They were making up stories about adventures and friendships among the stars. Their laughter drifted through the window, and for the first time in his long life, Vextar understood what Dr. Yell meant when she said humans were happy. 6 months later, Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of the research vessel New Horizons, the first joint Human Council exploration ship. Dr. Vasquez worked at a nearby station, collaborating with Dr. Yelm on studies of previously unknown stellar phenomena. Captain Zek managed the ship's operations with help from a human engineering crew who had quickly figured out how to improve Council technology by making it more intuitive and user-friendly. Ship was heading toward the Galactic Rim, where strange energy readings suggested the possibility of new forms of life. The crew was excited. They were all volunteers, beings from dozens of species who had chosen to work together because they wanted